How old were you when you made your first TV development deal?
19. My mother and my grandmother were freaked out. You know, I was the first person in my family not to go to college that had not been a slave.
Right.
So I was really breaking from tradition, and it was like a graduation lunch we were having, and they had my dad come and talk to me, and my dad takes me outside, and he's like, listen, and this is some advice that applies to all you acting students. He says, to be an actor is a lonely life. Everybody wants to make it, and you might not make it. And I said to my dad, well, that depends on what making it is, Dad. He was a smart-ass kid.
Yeah.
It depends on what making it is, Dad. He says, what do you mean? I said, well, you're a teacher. I said, if I could make a teacher's salary doing comedy, I think that's better than being a teacher. And he started laughing. He said, if you keep that attitude, I think you should go. He said, but name your price in the beginning. If it ever gets more expensive than the price you name, get out of there. Mm-hmm. Thus, Africa. Oh, man. Yeah, you guys are going to learn a lot tonight.
What can they learn?
You know, like you guys are students now, so you're idealists, but you don't know about where art and corporate interests meet yet. Just prepare to have your heart broken. Like, in a way, you see him laughing that evil laugh? Because he knows, man, and everybody laughs at me, but just get your Africa tickets ready, baby, because it's coming. It's coming. You have no idea.
When Martin Lawrence was in that chair, we talked about Blue Streak.
I love that dude.
He played a role in your life, I believe. How do you feel about him as a person, as an artist?
Martin Lawrence is the guy that showed everybody you can make it from D.C. to Hollywood. And I had a personal stake in his success. Every time he did something, it made me feel inspired and really good. And he was always real nice to me. He'd sit me down, what's going on with you, baby boy? What? We'd talk about comedy, whatever. And, you know, when we did Blue Streak, we were promoting it, and Martin had a stroke. He almost died. And then after that, I saw him, and I was like, oh, my God, Martin, are you okay? And he said, I got the best sleep I ever got in my life. That's how tough he is. So let me ask you this. What is happening in Hollywood that a guy that tough will be on the street waving a gun, screaming, they are trying to kill me?
Yeah.
What's going on? Why is Dave Chappelle going to Africa? Why does Mariah Carey make a $100 million deal and take her clothes off on TRL? A weak person cannot get to sit here and talk to you. Ain't no weak people talking to you. So what is happening in Hollywood? Nobody knows. The worst thing to call somebody is crazy, is dismissive. I don't understand this person, so they're crazy. That's bullshit. These people are not crazy. They're strong people. Maybe the environment is a little sick. Oh, I'm dropping dimes tonight. I've had a long year, Mr. Lipton.
We're on our way. What did you mean, Dave, when you described your father's death in 1998 as the beginning of a terrible decline?
I was 23 when I was doing Half Baked. I was getting ready to turn 24. And I was going through all the things that a dude goes through when it goes from one level to the next. I was starring in a movie that I wrote. So things start getting crazy around you.
Yeah.
And my 24th birthday was coming on August the 24th, and I said, this is going to be a big one. And the morning that I turned 24, phone rang, and my sister was like, Dad had a stroke. For the next year, I watched my father teeter on life and death. And it was just all this stuff, man. Like Dad was down, the half-baked didn't come out the way I wanted it to come out. I was real upset about that. Because it was a real cool script, and then I saw it, I was like, hey man, you made a weed movie for kids. And it wasn't for kids, the script, you know. It was all these things, so much pressure. Africa. Then I was in Ohio. I get a call on my cell phone from Hollywood. I'm like, hello, Hollywood. They're like, hello, Dave. They're like, that pilot you did for Fox, looks like they want to pick it up. We need you to come out because they want to meet with you. And I was like, well, listen, I can't really come out right now. Got a real bad situation at home. Can we talk about this on the phone? No, they would rather meet with you in person. But you know, like the whore that they turn us into. I jumped on that plane and left my father's bedside, which I regret to this day. And I went out and I sat with these people in this room. And if you can imagine a large circle of people, and I was 12 o'clock, the black dude. Yeah, Dave, we really liked the show, but the pilot episode was about me getting booed off stage at the Apollo. They go, but what are we going to do about it? I mean, there's not really any white people in it. So, well, it's about the Apollo. It's not really white. Well, we were thinking about the girl on the show. We didn't think she was that funny, not that good looking. I think we should recast her. Maybe, and they start using terms like universal appeal. Basically saying they want me to recast the girl with a white woman. I say, yeah, I don't think I can do this, and I quit. On the cover of Variety, Chappelle pulls the race card. The race card. And I get calls from Newsweek, 60 Minutes. Everybody, we want your story. Now I'm scared to death. I'm like Rosa Parks or something. I'm like, I'm not ready for this. I was just venting a little bit. And then, a few months later, Dad dies. And that's hard for a young dude in his life. That's a real tough loss. I was there when he died. And he went from being my father to what are we going to do with the body? Within moments, it was over. And I'm going through all this stuff, and this is the guy I would usually talk to, right? Dad. And I got to figure this out for myself. I don't want to figure this out for myself. I was beat down. I wasn't living right. You know what I mean? Like the weed thing was just a bad habit at this point. And you know what I mean? All these, chicken head girls you mess with when it comes with the territory. I'm just being real. Just being real. Just wasn't living right, man. I didn't feel good. And the stand-up stuff was just some angry stuff. It was just like I was kind of bottoming out. But when my dad died, because I've been commuting back and forth to Ohio so much, that's when I bought the farm, which I called the F*** you Hollywood farm.
Did you stay in Yellow Springs for a while?
I live there to this day. I live there to this day. I'm raising my kids there. Look, man, at that point in your life, it's something so real in contrast to what Hollywood is, a very powerful illusion. And when your dad died, it kind of just broke the spell. Like, oh, this is bullshit. Look, I've been spending so much time doing this. What about my family? What about my friends? Wait, whatever happened to my friends? Damn, I don't even have any friends. Ugh. So I bounced, man. New Year's Eve, 1999, I moved into that farm, and that was it. As far as I was concerned, I was done with show business.
still live in the sticks where you wouldn't go. In a town of 1,200 off an old dirt road. And a country boy is all I'll ever be. Now it's been 12 years since I sold my soul to the devil in L.A. He said, sign your name here on the dotted line, and your songs they all will play. He set up shop. He said, you wanna sell 1,000,000 records, boy, better listen to me. He said, change your style, widen your smile, you could lose a couple pounds. And if you wanna live this life, you'd better lose that wife. Do you need your friends around? I said, no, that's not me. 'Cause the biggest things in life are your friends and family. And I like my jeans and my old...
With Martin and you, that when you play white dudes, I can talk like that. Now, don't make fun of me. That when you play white dudes, your speech is pitch perfect, which led me to realize that either one of you could, if you wished, speak that way all the time. In other words, is it a matter of choice?
Every black American is bilingual. All of them. We speak street vernacular and we speak job interview. There's a certain way I gotta speak to have access. If I'm sitting across the table from a studio exec, you know, sometimes they'll do it to me. Say, my man, what's happening? I'm so, hold up, no. And I gotta throw out them big words. I gotta let them know that my parents are probably smarter than your parents.
Yeah. And much better educated.
They're much better educated than your parents, but they may not have had the access that your parents have. But this is show business. I can climb that socio-economic ladder just off the merit of my skills. I can talk that shit. It's a God-given gift. So, you know, yeah, I speak in street vernacular because when I'm talking to an audience of people, I feel comfortable. It's like an extension. Really, crowds are like my friends. It's the most consistent part of my life since I was 14. But in certain situations, you know, I gotta use that job interview. Well, I don't like that deal.
Can you see a time in your life ever when you won't be doing stand-up?
This past year, I did the least stand-up I've done since I started. 'Cause I was freaked out, man, with the fame thing and being called crazy and drug addict and all these things. Scared me. You know, being treated that way. Like I'm not a person anymore. You say this shit about me in front of my children, and you know, who the f*** do these people think they are? And they don't know what happened. You know, I have not spoken about what would make a person walk off the set of a successful show and go to Africa. But again, people don't understand it, so they call me crazy, and I don't like that.
What should they understand, Dave?
What should they understand? Well, I did 2 seasons, and it was very easy. Not very easy, but I didn't go to Africa. And then suddenly when I'm getting paid what they said was $50 million, I can't do it anymore. Nobody knows. Nobody remembers that I walked away from the show twice last season. Nobody asked about that. You know, in one of these magazines, Newsweek, it's a very credible magazine, and they're saying maybe I smoked crack, and it was all innuendo. And the magazine, as credible as Newsweek, I was very surprised that this was happening. And then I got to make some real choices, man. Is that what I want for myself? Did I get too big? Because I like people. I like entertaining. And the higher up I go, for some reason, the less happy I am. Is it going to get to the point where I'm doing a striptease on TRL or waving a gun on the street, saying they're trying to kill me? No, I'm not going to let it get to that point. I'm going to go to Africa. I'm going to find a way to be myself, man. I gotta, I'm an artist, man. I don't need a sneaker deal. I mean, I'd like one, but that's not the need that makes you guys go to school. You're not in this school right now because you want a sneaker deal. It'd be nice, but that's not why you're here, right? You're not here because, you'd like to be in the movies, but to act or to entertain it's a need that maybe a lot of your friends don't even understand. But you got that need, and you have your dreams. And there's only 6 studios, man. There's only 6 agencies, man. This is a small, controlled thing, and I don't like having to beg for the spotlight, man. The machine is good for us, and we good for the machine, and it should be fair, man. It should be fair.
What did you find in Africa that was an antidote to that?
In Africa? Well, a lot of things. First of all, I'm a Muslim. I don't necessarily practice the way a good Muslim is supposed to practice, but I believe in these tenets. And in Africa, there's a small community of people that don't know anything about the work I do, and they just treat me like I'm a regular dude. So I knew that in Africa I'd have a place to sleep, and that I wouldn't have to feel strange. And, when they would call me crackhead and all these things in the country where I'm from, in Africa, they didn't know anything. They was feeding me and taking care of me and taking me to the mall and just regular stuff. And it just made me feel good. It just reminded me that I was a person, I didn't even know they were saying those things about me. Then I call home, and people be like, "Oh my God, are you all right?" "Yeah, chill, I'm in Africa, baby. What's going on?" And then I got a call from a journalist that had been working on a story, and he was like, "Yeah, rumor mill's going on about you. Just want to clear a few things up." And I'm like, "Yeah, what's going on?" "Okay, do you smoke crack?" I said, "What? Do you smoke crack? Did you graduate from high school?" It was all these crazy questions. And I thought about never coming back. I said, this place is crazy. Like, I'm that dude. I just thought about all the things that celebrities go through and what celebrities become in our culture. If you Brad Pitt and Jennifer Aniston and your marriage is breaking up, that's an awful thing. But to see that speculation in people gotta sting a little bit.
Yeah.
And then I realized, oh my God, I'm one of those people. That's a small club, man. That's a weird place to be. Ain't really no going back. You can't get unfamous. You can get infamous. Right. But you can't get unfamous.
Right.
So I got scared. I'm not gonna lie, y'all. I was scared to death. And I didn't touch the mic. But it was cool, man. The first time I went back out and did stand-up, I was in Cincinnati. So it's not far from the farm. I said, if I gotta run, I can get home fast. And clubs sold out real fast. I played a comedy club. And man, when I walked out on that stage and them people were screaming, I get teary-eyed just thinking about it. Because this industry can say whatever they want, but man, people will hold you up. And that crowd, man, my spirits were so low when they was just holding me up. And I hadn't told jokes, but this was just coming back like Karate Kid again. You're the best around. I was just doing it, man. So I don't know how this whole Dave Chappelle thing is going to end, but I feel like I'm going to be some kind of parable about either what you're supposed to do or what you're not supposed to. So I'm going to be something. I'm either going to be a legend or just that tragic fucking story, but I'm going full throttle. I'm going all the way. I'm eager to find out how this will resolve itself.
You know, you have Chappelle's show, this almost like overnight success. Do you still feel that it was kind of maybe too much all at once, or do you feel that, again, with the decades worth of work, that it was just?
Was it too much at once?
Or do you feel it was deserved? Which it was?
I don't know. I deserve something. I mean, literally, deserve is deserved is a tough word, but the show it all seemed like a logical progression. You know, like, I could have pulled a LeBron and exploded when I was a kid, but it didn't happen that way, and I'm probably better for it. Like, had I got that kind of, I'm 32 and I went to Africa, so I can only imagine what would happen if I was like 19 and had Chappelle's show. Or if I could even handle it. It's a tremendous responsibility having a show like that. But everything's going fine, I think, till season 3. I mean, and it wasn't the fame that got to me. I love people. I like people saying that they like what I do, and you know, there's just a whole, you know, it's like an economic threshold you cross, man. You know, they had thrown out numbers like $50 million. You put that in the paper next to your name, then that guy's gonna have some serious problems in his personal life. There's no question. You know, I like to live a more open life. I don't like to have to protect myself from people. I don't want my life to become about enforcing boundaries, you know, but that's what happens when you become successful. Your humanity diminishes and you become something else to people. You ever see the cartoons where they're hungry and he looks over his buddy and his buddy look like a chicken dinner? That's kind of like, it's kind of like that. I think that America needs an honest discourse with itself. It's like the greatest country in the world by default. You know what I mean? But we could actually be the greatest country that ever existed if we were just honest about who we are and what we are and where we want to go, and if we learn how to have that discourse. Things like racism are institutionalized. It's systemic. You might not know any bigots. You feel like, well, I don't hate black people, so I'm not a racist. But you benefit from racism just by the merit of the color of your skin. There's opportunities that you have. You're privileged in ways that you may not even realize because you haven't been deprived in certain ways. We need to talk about these things in order for them to change. I do the show. I walk down the street. Black people like it. White people, the generations, it doesn't matter. Because it needs to be talked about. It's like the elephant in the living room that nobody says anything about. So, when the Bigsby thing came out, there was a lady from Texas that called Comedy Central, I mean, damn near 100 times. She was furious with me. I wasn't mad at her for being mad at me. It's like, okay, that's good, you know. Not good that she's mad at me, but she's entitled to her opinion. And maybe she's right. I don't know. I just thought it was funny. That's what I did. I'm a comedian, man. That's how I look at the world, and that's what I'm spitting out. So I don't judge people or not like people for thinking. People that I love tell me I go too far sometimes. Maybe I went too far, but I did it.